There is a universal, intoxicating rush that hits you the exact second you decide to completely overhaul your life. You start projecting a flawless future version of yourself. You picture the person who hits the gym every single day, reads a book a week, and lives in a perpetually spotless apartment. But to bridge the gap between who you are now and that ideal self, you convince yourself you need prerequisites. You tell yourself you need a better productivity system, specific running shoes, or you need to rewatch that one piece of advice from a health guru before you can truly commit. We stockpile information to feel secure, but eventually, that mass of data becomes an informational black hole. Like the ice giant Uranus sitting out in the freezing void, this massive accumulation of prep work creates its own sheer gravity, trapping any actual physical effort and preventing it from escaping. The feeling of absolute readiness you are waiting for is a myth. Preparing for change has simply become a psychologically safe way to hide from actually doing it. To cope with the friction of not actually starting, we usually do the next most satisfying thing. We tell everyone our plans. The urge to text your friends and announce the massive life change you're about to make is almost involuntary. This diagram outlines exactly what happens when you do that. You make an announcement, your friends offer praise, and that triggers an immediate dopamine spike, which bypasses the action entirely. Looking at this loop, you have just been generously rewarded for complete inaction. Your brain gets all the warm, fuzzy feelings of accomplishment without doing a single push-up, effectively neutralizing the biological drive to do the actual work. Even if you get a negative reaction and someone doubts you, the result isn't much better. Acting out of spite to prove the haters wrong might make you intensely consistent for a week, but it is an immature and unsustainable fuel source. Announcing your intentions takes your internal power and hands it over to external observers. It guarantees a lose-lose scenario. Your consistency should be something people discover, not something you announce. We often pair this need for external validation with the isolation myth. We get infatuated with the idea of retreating up a mountain somewhere, self-improving in a total vacuum, and eventually returning to society as an unrecognizable superior being. The physical reality of time refuses to cooperate with that fantasy. Life is an unstoppable train that is always moving forward, and attempting to pause it so you can prepare is impossible. Making genuine progress is rarely about a massive Everest-sized undertaking. It is a matter of looking at where your train is currently headed and applying tiny trajectory corrections. Real change breaks down into a localized daily conflict. It is the friction-filled micro-decision of choosing a slightly better action right now instead of comfortably deferring it to tomorrow. A completely different life is never born from a grand, isolated awakening. It is built entirely by bringing consciousness to those mundane, present-moment decisions. To make those present-moment decisions easier, look at your physical surroundings. Environmental cues dictate our behavior far more effectively than sheer willpower. We can use this to our advantage by setting traps of growth. Force an outcome by placing a positive habit in the path of a routine, like physically blocking your morning coffee with daily vitamins. You can even hijack an existing addiction. If you crave a third cup of coffee every afternoon, force that mandatory caffeine fix to come from a pre-workout drink. The chemical craving kicks in, and suddenly you are putting on your gym shoes out of absolute necessity. You have to do this your way. Survey your weird procrastination habits, your strange intrusive thoughts, and work with those unique flaws instead of pretending they don't exist. True readiness isn't about perfecting your character. It is about engineering a physical environment where doing the right thing is frictionless and doing the wrong thing is exhausting. Once you start stringing together just a few consecutive days of taking immediate, unready action, a profound psychological shift occurs. The intense discipline and white-knuckle mental hacks you relied on suddenly become obsolete. On one side is the anxious burden of planning a perfect future. On the other, the grounding relief of present action. Doing the work instantly tips the scales. That visceral feeling of being on the right track today easily overpowers the hypothetical perfection of tomorrow. The benefits of action aren't a distant promise. They are the physical sensation of no longer being stuck, experienced the moment you begin. Yet, just as things start clicking into place, an insidious trap catches people. A little voice of bitterness creeps in, mourning the years wasted on planning, wondering why you didn't just start earlier.
Looking backward like this is destructive. It lets a useless sense of regret taint the genuine progress you are making right now. That regret is logically hollow. Every failed plan and desperate mindset was a necessary evolutionary step. You had to test all those dead-end tactics to eventually arrive at this specific moment of clarity. Practice radical gratitude instead. Rejoice in the fact that the realization happened at all, and accept that you are currently in the best possible reality you can be in. Lasting change isn't found in fighting your old self or obsessing over a future plan. It is found exclusively in the act of building the new self, unready, today.